Hi there, good morning. Welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. Welcome to 30 minutes of my day where I never know what I'm going to get done because I get to work. I don't always do tutorials like I did the other day. Well, it wasn't really a tutorial. It was more like me figuring out how on earth Carrie the Crafter and Gail Agostinelli made that really cool folded tag. That was really cool. Okay, let's get this started. Start 30 minutes, and thanks to Susan, now I can go longer if I want. I'm going to do a bit of work on this. It's been called Rapunzel. I can't help it. In my head, I just start talking to my books, as you know, and before I know it, they end up with a name. And because it says the tower window and there's this pretty long-haired lady on the cover, I've been calling her Rapunzel. So, so she got a name. Anyhow, I did, of course, work off camera because I turn on for 30 minutes, but I still work a lot more during the day than just 30 minutes. So I have, for the most part, what I think will be all the signatures. Now there are 9 in here, and there are varying amounts of papers in here because I start off keeping it equal, but then it starts changing a bit because sometimes there's thicker papers in. For example, whenever I can, I love to put in a guest book folio from out of a guest book, and those tend to be heavier paper, so that would take up more than, say, a folio out of a hymn book or a Bible. That tends to be much thinner, or dictionary, very thin papers in dictionaries, and also if there's tip outs like here, that will bulk up a signature more than if it's just flat papers. So, and tea-dyed papers bulk up more. You know the routine. So here, let me take a look and see what we're at page-wise in my little book here. Okay, my bookhouse. We're at 240 pages. That's a nice amount, and they're big. So this is going to be a nice journal. I've put laces down 5 of the signatures, down one side of 5 of the signatures. I did wider lace on the 3 center ones and a smaller lace on the 2 outer ones, simply because I find that the shorter lace sort of leads you in to see the longer laces. If I put the longer lace on the very first signature, you wouldn't necessarily notice a little short one later on. So if I'm going to do varying sizes, that's usually how I'll do it. Now I did finish making this spine a little bit stronger. I only put in 1 layer of the file folder cardstock cut into the size. Simply because I liked the flexibility it had, and I didn't necessarily want it too hard as rock. So sometimes, depending on what my vision is, I will do, 2 or 3 layers of file folder cardstock layered together, and then you know what I do, I wrap it around my rolling pin. Boy, I'm having a hard time grabbing at my words this morning. So wrapping around the rolling pin with pantyhose and leaving it overnight. But I didn't do that this time. I was liking the way this already felt. The fabric really felt nice, but I kept thinking in the back of my mind that this is a 101-year-old book. So just to err on the safe side, I did put in some really nice fine weave cotton cheesecloth. I just put that in there to just give it a little bit of strength, just in case it soon starts deciding to wear through from the outside in. That cheesecloth will just, It'll hold it on for a little bit longer. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Some of the corners were trying to come up, so I secured them back down. And I'm happy. I'm happy with it. End papers. So I did start my camera going. I was going to bring you along while I did end papers. And then they just got me thinking and doing math with rulers too hard for my brain. And I don't do well with a camera going if that's the case. Pardon me. But what I wanted to do was I had a pad of those, is it 6x6 or 8x8? It's the scrapbook papers that is not full 12x12. It's a smaller one. And I found one at one of my thrift stores, and it's all black and white patterns, which I love. I love black and white. I like wearing black and white. I think it's from my years of being a hairstylist. That's a very common color combination that stylists will wear when they're working out on the floor of the salon. Anyhow, so I thought, you know what, I could still use these papers and I could still make end papers. So what I did was I just took some of the top ones, I angled it, I took another one and made, just made a band. Now, because I wanted to use up, see how these belonged together, I wasn't able to make them a mirror image. And at first I was a little disappointed, and I tried finding different ways to pull it off, and it just wasn't going to work because the other sides are different, and I don't like that side. But then I realized once the text block is in, you're never going to really see that it's mirror image. So, and now here's something else that I decided when I was starting to put them together, because I did some stitching along there, and I think once I know for sure how wide I want it to be, because I never do that until my text block is glued in, I have a feeling I'll be taking off maybe about 1/8 of an inch off this side. And once I do that, I do think I will stitch all around the entire perimeter to match up the sewing that I did along these seams. But you'll notice I've just got this held together with tape right now. What I'm going to do is when I put these in, I'm actually going to leave that as a pocket on both sides. So it's going to be kind of a hidden little pocket on both sides. And I think that's going to be kind of cool. And I haven't done that before. So I was able to make use of the size of scrapbook paper that usually isn't helpful to me with a bigger book, because I also don't often have two of the same sheets. So this way it divided them up, it got it done, and I like it. And I may still put some fussy cut illustrations from in the book. The book has these illustrations that are mostly black and white drawings with either shades of orange or shades of turquoise, and I think that could look really pretty against the black and white. I think they'd go together really nice. So I got that done off camera. Let me put these aside. I got the template ready because I think I'm almost ready to start sewing these in. So they will get sewn in on this side of the fabric, like that. But I'm thinking today what I want to do is I just want to put some little fabric, either little ruffles or a little tab. So I went through my fabrics that I have, and I found some that I like. Hold on. Oh, one last thing that I am going to do on this final page. So this will, imagine the end paper here. Hold on. Okay, imagine the end paper. Imagine it's all together. This one end paper was still in nice condition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this off. This is where it was here, and I carefully took it out. I'm going to put it in the way publishers will put a book plate in, like a color art plate in. So I'm going to cut a new edge here. I'll probably cut a new edge here. There is some discoloration along there, and I have room to trim. So, and it'll go there as a final page, which is kind of fun because it throws off the page count number because it's not a folio. So it always makes those are the silly little things that make me smile. So anyhow, so what I want to do, I think, today is I just want to put in a few little fabric tabs. And so I went through my my fabrics. Boy, I have had 2 cups of tea, so I do have a little bit of caffeine in me, but I guess maybe I need some more. So I went through my fabrics. I went through, I have a bag of just tiny pieces that aren't big enough to save in my folded bin. So these are just small pieces. They range in size from a good amount that possibly could be used for a spine and right down to just little tiny swatches. Anyhow, so I went through it and found the ones that I'm interested in. This came in Happy Meal from Camille, and I liked that it had some turquoise. So I think I'll make a frill out of some of this. Thank you, Camille. I liked this sort of black and creamy color. It sort of brings out, there's a strong, of course, black, not theme, but influence because of the cover. I found this tiny little piece in my bag, and it's got turquoise, so I'm tempted to use that. Of course, I love this William Morris pattern, and it's more of a light aqua, but because the green is there, I think it fools the eye, and it makes it match. It blends it in, and I like it. Oh, here's another little piece of that. I'm still toying with this one. It's got some orange with the black, and again, there's the blue and the green together. I might use a little bit of that here or there. I love this piece. This came in Happy Mail too, and I love this. It just looks like beautiful marbled paper. And part of me wants to use a bit of it. Part of me would like to use it instead of end papers in another book someday, because it's just so pretty. That green is just, I love green. Green is my calming color. I like in my home, I really like shades of ivory and really pale, calming greens and browns. That's my favorite to surround myself with. So originally had got out this is all I have left of my William Morris fabric, but then I found this one, so I can put this back in my larger sized bin. And then this came in Happy Meal as well. And it's got typewriter keys on it, which I love. So I'm going to use a little piece of this. I got quite a bit of it. And then this gold that also came in Happy Meal. I got spoiled. 2021 may have been a crummy year for being trapped in my house, like I'm up in a high tower up here. But, you know, I really got spoiled in 2021. And I'm very appreciative. I like this. I like that little bit of gold because I'm hoping it will, with the gold here, that will look rather nice. It's shimmery. So I'm going to get started here and figure out where I want to put them. Usually for me, I choose strong pages if I'm going to put a fabric ruffle on, or just a little piece of a torn piece and just stitch on it. That's why I want to get this done at this stage so that I can use my sewing machine. So I think right now for for the beginning, I'm going to focus on the signatures that don't have lace. So that would be 2, 4, 6, and 8. So, and as ever, I usually at least begin my setup signatures with an outer plain tea-dyed paper. And that's perfect because then I can sew on a tab. I like it in that direction. Now I wonder if this will let me. It did. Sometimes fabric won't let me tear it if it's too small, a little piece of fabric. Is that? Oh, okay. I went to bed again last night with my favorite Mod Podging brush out. I didn't wash it before bed, so now I'm soaking it in really hot water with some Murphy's oil soap in there to try and get that loosened up. Usually I can get it loose enough with hot water that then I will take an old credit card and I can pretty well pull. If I catch it within that 24-hour period, I can get it all off, and then it's still great for Mod Podge. I would never use it for paint again, but that's one of my favorite ones. I have 2 favorite ones for Mod Podge. Alrighty, let's see. Let's see what we want to do here. I'll put at least one in. I've got a lot of fabric here. I don't think I will use both. I'm trying to decide. I really loved. I might have to do it this way. That wasn't a very. I didn't make it a good size for doing a ruffle. Ever since I learned to do a ruffled fabric tab when I did the Traveler's Notebook series with Nancy, yeah, I could do it in that direction. I've loved it. I could do it in that direction. All right, I'm going to put it down low. All right, glue stick. Alright, there we go. There's going to be no rhyme or reason as to where my tabs go along the page. Because they're fabric, I don't mind if they are at the very center of the page. If I was doing whale tail tabs, I would avoid putting it in the center of the page if I hadn't decided yet whether I want to put ties on it, because that can be a disaster. All right, so, and I don't mind this hanging out quite a bit because there's going to be long lace, and I don't mind if it shows a bit. So I'm just going to give this little pinches to just give it a little bit of a ruffle, as I learned. I love how junk journalers share what they know with each other. It's nice. There we go. I like that. I'm going to let that dry. I'm not going to sew it yet. And when I do sew it, I'll just do the mishmash mix-up of zigzag and straight. And you know me, I'll probably leave the threads long. All right, let's do one near the top. Oh, let's do some of this. Yeah, that turquoise is just calling out. Now, I wonder if I can tear it. Yes! You know what I can do? Some of you are probably yelling at your screen right now and going, Catherine, use the long blade and sort of shave it apart. Yes, I can do that. I find it still... I'll do that if I have to. But I find it still leaves too defined of a line rather than that nice... Just love that tear edge. Now, do I want this a longer one? Or do I want it like this? And just be a little piece. Yeah. Let's do that. Tiny little tab. Yes. Okay. Oh, that's even got orange there. Oh, maybe I'll have to use some of that. Although, Catherine, you're getting too matchy-matchy again. Sometimes there's a place for matchy-matchy. Am I right? Of course, right. And I just did an all sorts where I tried not to do matchy-matchy, so maybe this time I could do a little matchy-matchy. You know me. If there are threads I can pull, I want to pull them. All right, now, do I want the music on the outside? Because this is just going to be a ruffle. It's not going to be a tab. Do I want the music outside, or do I want the music on the inside? I want the music outside. All right, so again, just going to take this out. Oh, I should show you something I did yesterday I was working on. So I was doing, I knew that I had some pages that needed to have their fold fortified because, like, for example, this page is out of a book I have from 1897. I've written down there. So it was in sad state. So what I did, I didn't want it too bulky. I really didn't feel like using washi tape. So I used actually pages out of a big dictionary I have that's not too old. So the papers are still, they're very thin, but they're still very strong. They're not cracky. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. So I just tore it into strips. Yeah. I used my decal edge ruler. Tore them into strips about 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more, 5/8. I inked them because that's just too white, and I used that down the center on the older ones that needed a little bit of help. And I like how that looks, just that little bit of print. For me, I like to reinforce the inside of the fold. It's just me. Everyone's different. I like that's just so pretty, and I feel like because we open our books from right to left, that's the first thing you see, and I like that it's still the full, whole, nice page. And then when you turn inside, yeah, there's a little one on that side, but I don't know, it's just me. Just me. All right, so let's ruffle this. So I just, because this dries, it disappears, I just lay it down on there and then start pinching. Sometimes I will do a ruffle on my sewing machine where I literally will sew through and then I tug on the threads and do that kind of a ruffle. So it depends on the mood I'm in. I'm just in the mood for doing this kind of a ruffle today. I just feel like sitting here at my desk. I don't have to go back and forth. And this kind of ruffle has the advantage, it's not as bulky. as a fully sewn ruffle, the kind that you would use. You know, oh my goodness, I sewed a lot of little girls' dresses over the years. I had three of them that wore dresses every Sunday to church. So I sewed a lot of ruffles on the sleeves and on the skirt. So there we go. I like that. I'm just looking for a clamp. I probably left it on the other side of my room. I'm not going to bother right now. I'll just leave that and let it dry because I'm going to sew later. All right, so that's 5. Here's 6. What should I do with 6? I want something really dark black, I think. Maybe I want some of you. Has that got a torn edge? It does. Okay. I may tear myself a whole ribbon here. Let's do to here. Now I'm going to pause and I'm going to go iron this. Okay. Sorry, I was just resetting my timer. So yeah, there we go. All ironed and frayed. So I'm going to put this kind of central. Now I may just simply do a tab. I think that's what I will do. How wide do I want my tab? Do I want the tab out that way? Or do I want the numbers that way? No, I think I want the numbers that way. So, let's go to about there. Yes. The little things that make me happy. I'll deal with you later. Okay, so we got a nice sunny day here today where I am. Cold, very, very cold, but sunny. And it's not snowing, so there's no shoveling to do, so that's nice. There we go. And I want this more or less centered. So again, I'm just going to use this because I will be sewing it. Oh, do you see what my challenge is? This is a tip out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around. And then the tip out can be on the back. And then I can put my little tab here. Easy peasy. Now, did I get you? I did. See, it's got dictionary paper in the fold. Woohoo! All right. Let's do you more or less center. It doesn't have to be perfect. This one I will do flat. I've done 2 ruffles so far, so this one will be flat. And because it's fabric, because in the center, I'll be able to, if I decide, put a tie on it, and it won't matter if the tie pulls it in a bit. That's fine. There we go. You can go in. One more. Now, I'm just going to, I just want to see the, you know what? I think I'm going to go in and find that orange. Oh. Today's music. I forget what, let's give ourselves 10 more minutes. I forget the name of that song, but that one's a pretty one. I felt very peaceful. All right, I want a little bit of orange. Oh, I like that one sticking out there. And that looks nice. There's that. Yeah, let's do the orange right about here. So, yeah. I'm just thinking about where I want to cut it. Save this. I might still want to put another ruffle in. Maybe I want to go to town with the ruffles, right? Or use it on a tag. Okay, so do I want... Let's do another ruffle. Let's do another little ruffle. Oh boy. Lots of those. All right. And then I'll sew them on and show you what they look like before I go. I am still working on the Little Wildflowers book. I will be doing a recording of how I lay down the lace because I'm going to shabby chic that book. So I've been playing with layouts ahead of time. Otherwise, I could literally record for hours while I hum and haw over things. So I find it's better for me to get a lot of that out of the way ahead of time. It saves us both time. Okay. All right, so 8. Because we did 6, yes, so 8. And around here. And I'm just doing a ruffle, like I did with the other turquoise one. So, here. Then I'll go sew them. So, put it down. I'm going to give it quite a bit of room on this side. It'll be sort of an offset ruffle. Because it's going to peek out from behind those longer laces. The longer laces are on 3rd, 3, 5, and 7. So I want this one to be viewable from the top down, from behind the lace, hopefully, at least a little bit. Just pinching it, thumb and finger, and then pushing it down. There we go. Now, for me, simply because I'm so scatterbrained at times, I do put my signatures all back together again in between, like gluing and sewing that and that, rather than keeping them all in a pile, simply because sometimes if the tab falls off or what have you, and I'll think, oh, where did you belong? And yeah, I like that. Can you see how that's just peeking out from behind there? That's pretty. Okay, I'm happy. I'm going to pause. I'm going to go sew, and then we'll get back together again. Okay, so I I went and sewed. There's none in this. This one I've already tied off, and then I thought, I can do that later. So I didn't tie this one off. Pardon me, I did tie this one off, but I didn't push down the paper from the other side. So it just needs that done. And it's good. And this one doesn't have any. So the only reason I get this done, like I said, is it's hard. It's much harder to sew into a text block than it is when there's just loose paper, loose folios in unsewn signatures yet. So you still can. I have found ways to sort of hold the book and feed it through carefully, but it's not easy. This is just much more pleasant way to get it done. There we go. Where's my scissors? So that one's done. That one doesn't have any. Let's do this one. I just did a mishmash of different sizes and different, zigzag or straight. I like the look of the long threads hanging, so usually I actually will pull them to the top. I like the look of it. Come on. Thank you. There we go. Oh, hold on. There we go. That's better. I wonder what's for dinner tonight. I won a bet yesterday with my husband. And the winner of the bet, or the loser of the bet, has to make dinner for the other one. So, and the bet was, we were reminiscing over an episode of The Flintstones, where I believe it was, oh my goodness, now I forget who the character was that came to town, and he was a singer, and he had an allergy to Wilma's, I think it's her grabbleberry pie, and he had this song, and he did this dance, and he had this song. I'll sing a little bit of it for you, and then I'll give you a second to see if you know the correct word. So and pardon my poor singing. There's a town I know where the hipsters go called Bedrock. And then the next word was what we were arguing about. Because my husband said that it's called Bedrock. Twist. So he thought the word was twist. And I said, no, because he was itchy. The lyrics went called Bedrock. Twitch, because the dance was called the twitch. And so we argued a bit about it, and then of course, thank goodness for Google. And I Googled the lyrics, and I won. It's twitch. So he's cooking dinner tonight, and he's a good cook, so I'm looking forward to dinner. I'll let you know what I get. Now I'm interested. How many of you knew that it was the twitch and not twist? There's a town I know where the hamsters go, called bedrock. Twitch, twitch. Oh my goodness. Back in the day when I was a girl, almost no children stayed for lunch at school. It was just unheard of. First of all, the school was close enough for all of us that we could just walk to and from school. It took me maybe 8 minutes. And all of us in that era, this is the 60s, for most of us, our moms were home. So we'd come home and there'd be lunch waiting for us on the table. And every day from 12:30 till 1 o'clock was the Flintstones. And we had to be back to school for 1:30. So that gave us time. We could watch the Flintstones from 12:30 till 1 o'clock, and then we could head out the door, and that would give us a half an hour to play with our friends in the schoolyard from 1 till 1:30. But just about all of us, we all watched. We ate our lunch, gobbled it down, because back then you didn't eat in the living room. So we'd sit at the table and eat our lunch, and then off we'd head, and we were allowed to watch the Flintstones, and then head off to school. There we go. So I have lots of happy memories of the Flintstones. All right, let's see what we did today. Lots of threads hanging out. I'm happy. Lots of blacks, turquoise, orange. I'm happy. Where's our cover? Let's just make this look nice before I go. And that way we can get an idea of what this is going to look like. Oh yeah, that's going to be pretty. That's sticking out just far enough. It's all soft and mushy. So if I put an eyelet there, or if I tie a bow right around it, that's all mushy. I may still put some tabs along the sides. I don't know yet. But that's cute, or maybe some tabs up the top. We'll see. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll get together soon and do a little bit more work. Probably the next time with this book, I will have the signatures all sewn together into a text block. So I suspect I'll be doing that later today. Bye.